Hello and welcome to this video where we will be walking around Tewkesbury. This is going to be a short video and we're narrating this week. Not to worry, this isn't going to be a normal thing. When we recorded this video, there was a particular nose whistle from yours truly, which is preventing us really from airing the audio of the actual walk. Next video, we will be using natural background noise, which we prefer, but if you do like the narration, let us know, and easy enough for us to talk through the video as opposed to giving the subtitles, so let us know. On the left coming into view is Tewkesbury Abbey. It was built in the 1100s. It is Norman architecture and is really well preserved. We should be doing a video there in the future at some point. Much like the town, it was built by the Benedictine monks who had their hand in the town that we're going to be walking through today. So as we come into the town, you'll see a lot of buildings that are going back to 14th to 17th century. This town is a really good example of a town that hasn't changed a ton over the centuries. And you see these black and white timbered buildings, medieval to Tudor time. And what's really cool about these buildings is they're not straight lines. They're wooden structures that have evolved and moved over time. As we walk down the main street, you're going to see, as we can see in front of us, these coat of arms. And this is something that has, I think, evolved over the years we've been coming to Tewkesbury. Every July there's a medieval festival, and many homes display these banners, which represent invented or actual family crests. You'll see it up and down the street. It's quite cool. It's apparently a nod to the War of the Roses. It's a nod to the War of the Roses reenactment. And up ahead here, you'll see a pub on the left. It's a massive pub called the Royal Hop Pole. It's a Wetherspoons pub. If you're familiar with Wetherspoons, they bulk buy these buildings, these historic buildings, and convert them to pubs. And actually quite a lot of beer. I guess quite a lot of options for beer and cheap food, but they do it well. But the irony is this is a cheap pub chain, but they've bought this pub that is referenced in the Charles Dickens novel, Pickwick Papers. It's 15th century inn, grade 2 listed. I think the book was written in the early 1800s. can see how tight the footpath is, and this is the main road that goes to Tewkesbury, so this isn't a side road. It gets quite busy, especially in the summer. This is where we start to meet the water, and this waterway, this canal, was actually built by the monks. Carved this out from the River Severn. Just a few miles long. I believe this inlet brought some of the trade in from the river closer to the town. We're going to be talking about the island to the left that exists that's next to this mill in a bit. We will be crossing over that bridge and walking through that central patch of land that sits between the cut through, that little inlet, that canal they've cut. So coming up on the left is, I guess it's an original iron bridge. It's from what's called the Abbey Mill footbridge. So this mill here, I think it has been in operation until about 1900. And this bridge specifically was built at around the time the factory was last running. I think the factory stopped running in 1920, and this bridge replaced an old wooden one. So it's not tremendously old, the bridge that we're standing on right now, but it is over 100 years old. We see this mill, I believe it was a grain mill, and you see these pipes that run across the bridge. I think across the bridge, given these pipes go into a building directly behind us, you'll probably be able to see it in a bit on the right. But yeah, you see the pipes. I believe that probably was a warehouse or a store where they would send the refined product, whether that's the grain or the flour or whatever it was. This mill is quite old. It's really difficult to find information on this one left as far as how long it's been running, or how long it was running to. The last thing I saw was it was 1920s. It's in an awkward spot on the Ham, which is the central plot of land, and I can't imagine how difficult it would be to refurbish that for apartments. This, if you haven't guessed, is the River Severn, which the canal was cut away from. The source of flooding that I think took place in about 2007 in Gloucestershire, Tewkesbury. You can see that warehouse is a very cool building. A lot of these old warehouses are converted to flats. Again, I just don't know what they're going to do with it. It's going to take so much money. from the UK and you do come to visit, these canal boats, you can hire these for a weekend or a week and book a journey. Really quite a fun experience, especially taking on the locks. Very relaxing too. I think that will be, we'll book another canal boat trip when I need a knee or a hip replacement, when I can't do too much moving. You get a good view of the canal and my thumb or forearm, I don't know what that is, my hand. We're going to be crossing over that bridge onto the Severn Ham, which essentially is the massive plot of land that was created by the canal as it cuts away and back to the River Severn. And it's a great place for locals to go walk the dog. It does get flooded. It is a floodplain, obviously. But for most of the year, you can walk around the edge. It's a 2-mile loop around. What is this flood meadow? I looked it up in Ham, and it's 2 M's. Means river meadow in a bend. so close to the water, they try to sort of mitigate that a bit. Really trying to give rise to space for wildflowers, insects, birds. I know a lot of people are encouraged to have a plot of grass or land in their gardens that, such as you see on the left, is quite wild. It's what insects thrive in. You know, if you cut grass, you limit the area for bugs to live and thrive. And bugs are really important. In the 18th, 19th century, this circular was used as a horse racing track. And even with the canal cut in, this plot of land does a lot of work to stop flooding. It still happens from time to time. I think it's unavoidable when you live this close to the water, but as you can see, it does a lot to soak up any water from the river, which if you look in the distance on the right, you can see those little lines of trees. That's the River Severn. I found this video from 1920 of this area that we're walking. It's 1930s maybe. And it gives you a good idea of how similar this place is now and how it was in 1920. So this bridge here is the town bridge, returning back to the town. Bridge was, I think, has been there for a long time, but it was rebuilt when the flooding was there. And if you look on the right, you see that little silver box. I think that's a bit of a sluice for things like eels to be able to get up and down that waterfall there. Very cool town, and it's a very popular place to live. Somewhere I would definitely consider retiring, especially given the place is beautiful, and you can walk everywhere. That's my arm again. You're welcome for that. Being so close to the town, you have shops, you have restaurants, within walking distance, and that is kind of the holy grail. I don't think it's too expensive. It's not cheap, but I don't think it's as expensive as other parts of the UK. A lot of times it's a lot more expensive to live in a tiny village. And this is more of a bigger town. But you just imagine these houses on the left have not changed much at all over the last couple centuries. Towards Tewkesbury Abbey again, which really is the centerpiece of the town. And there's the tower. It's 148 feet tall. It's the largest surviving Norman tower in Britain. churchyard is larger than normal. Again, that's my arm. It's larger than normal, which I think says something how important this place was. Also read when I was here, there's a plague pit on the grounds from the Black Death era. Some of the older stonework there is some of the oldest on site. Here's really where the town gathers. It's the main park for people to come and walk when they're not walking on the Severn Ham. Added additional flood protection. I think it probably was used for agricultural purposes. I'm going to shut up and let you enjoy the rest of this walk in peace. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, and if you're tired of my voice, don't worry, you're going to hear a lot less of it in the next video. If you want me to do more narration, let me know, we can do that. Thanks again for watching.